Terence Crawford, brutally honest on retirement and what is next.
Terence, look, I do have to ask, in terms of Canelo Alvarez, has there been any movement on that situation for next year?
No, not yet. We're just taking it day by day. Right now, I'm enjoying life and enjoying the fruits of my labor.
And you absolutely deserve it. As I said, you're a pound-for-pound king. If it isn't Canelo next year, are you done from the sport, Terence?
I wouldn't say that. Right now, I'm just weighing out my options and looking for the best opportunities and options for Terence Crawford in my career.
He says if the Canelo fight does not happen, does not mean that he's going to retire. I know a lot of people are speculating on what's going on with Terence Crawford. Is he only chasing Canelo? You got to remember, he fought Madrimov, right? Turki Al-Sheikh is literally trying to, make the Canelo fight. If Canelo does not want to fight Terence Crawford, that's on him. You can't make someone fight someone else. Canelo wants to paint it as Terence Crawford is, too small for him and he has no chance at, basically upsetting Canelo.
Is on a track to being one of the best fighters, if not the best fighter who's ever lived. Like literally pound for pound all time.
But just with the skill set alone, Terence Crawford is a master.
Forget about the three-weight classes. I think he could beat Canelo.
I think he can too.
He's the best switch hitter in boxing since Marvin Hagler. I love that mentality. I do. I love it. That's what makes all-time greats.
Yeah.
You have to have that mountain to climb.
But Canelo is over here, rumored to be fighting Chris Eubanks Jr. Terence Crawford would beat the brakes off of Eubanks Jr. Terence Crawford would beat Jamie Munguia. Listen, Canelo has fought guys that Terence Crawford would beat, so his whole logic does not make any sense. If he wants to fight Terence Crawford and he says it, the contract will be right there and Turki Al-Sheikh will be right there to fund this fight. And so it's all on Canelo on whether he wants to fight Terence Crawford or not. But what people are not understanding is you got Errol Spence Jr. right now basically supposed to be fighting Fundora, right? That fight was rescheduled and it's supposed to happen. Well, I like the people around Errol Spence Jr. because they basically convinced him not to fight Terence Crawford in a rematch last December, right? Spence is getting more time to recover. He's now well past a year of recovery after that beating he took from Crawford, which is great for him. He's going to look much better because now he had time to recover and to rest, not have too many concussions at once. And so that's great for him. But I say all of this to say this. Terence Crawford is waiting in the wings because this fight needs to happen. If Canelo does not happen, Terence Crawford will fight the winner of Spence versus Fundora. If Spence wins, huge rematch, big fight. If Fundora wins, Terence Crawford can collect another belt at 154 and it's a big fight, right? So that's what he's waiting for. It's not like he's waiting for Boots Ennis. And I want to talk about this fight, right? You guys see that in the thumbnail. Boots Ennis. A lot of people want to see Crawford versus Boots Ennis. The problem with this is Boots, go fight someone. Stop, basically putting your entire career behind trying to fight Crawford. When Crawford was chasing Spence, and he was saying he was going to beat Spence, right? Which, I did call years before it happened that Crawford would stop Spence. But anyways, when Crawford was doing that, every single fighter that Spence would beat, Crawford would go right after him and beat them worse. Therefore proving that, hey, this guy is running away from me. When I catch him, he's done. So now Boots Ennis needs to go and fight the guys that Crawford fought. Go beat these guys worse. Go fight Spence. Try to fight Spence at 154. Try to fight Madrimov, who, Crawford just beat. By the way, Madrimov is much better than people think. I was saying that before the fight with Crawford. Madrimov is a young fighter on the come up that is much better than people think. Crawford was dealing with an awkward, really good fighter in Madrimov, and he beat him. Anyways, that's what Boots Ennis needs to do, though. Stop basing your entire career off of trying to fight Crawford. Crawford is making career moves right now. He's looking for huge paydays before retiring. He's at the back end of his career, right? He looks like he's in his prime, but he's at the back end of his career right now. He's looking for huge paydays. And Boots Ennis is not a huge name. He's not fighting anyone. You can't keep clamoring for Terence Bud Crawford, one of the greatest fighters we've ever seen. A guy who's still undefeated after 40 fights, right? A guy who put his entire career on the line against Errol Spence Jr. to prove that he is the best on the planet. Pound for pound best. Terence Crawford. You can't tell us you're better than him and not fight anyone. Go fight people that Terence Crawford beat and beat them worse to try to get this fight. If you're not going to do that, we don't want to hear none of this. Enough. I wanted to see Crawford versus Boots Ennis, right? But I thought over the last couple of years, I thought we were going to see him step up in competition and try to chase Crawford. But he's not. He's literally fighting the same competition he was fighting years ago. And he expects Crawford to just be like, oh, forget about Canelo. Forget about having a rematch with Errol Spence Jr. Forget about Fundora. Forget about, even maybe fighting Jamal Charlo, right? Forget about all of that. But, oh, Boots Ennis, who's not a huge name, who hasn't really fought anyone. Let's go fight him. I would hope the Canelo fight happens. I just don't think Canelo wants to fight Terence Crawford, man. It's a bad matchup for Canelo. I know Crawford is going up to 168, but people have to remember how Canelo looked against Mayweather? Canelo does not do great against phenomenal boxers. Triple G is a great boxer, right? Not as great of a boxer as Terence Bud Crawford, but he's a great boxer with a huge knockout ability, right? But the fact that Canelo struggled against him is not really because of his knockout ability. Canelo has a chin. He struggled against Triple G because Triple G could box. Now, you got Terence Bud Crawford, one of the most unique boxers, a switch fighter, and can do anything in a boxing ring. And not to mention, he's got a chin. And so Canelo would have to solve that riddle. I don't think he wants to do that, especially at this point in his career. He just doesn't want to say it. He wants to act like Terence Crawford is too small for him, but I just don't think he wants to try to outbox Terence Crawford, which I think he would fail to do so. Let me know what you guys think. Comment, like, subscribe, share. I appreciate it. Peace.